Hey everybody, hey, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and I'm here live with Kyle Lewis and Pratik. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Pratik, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. I just realized I waved to Zoom, and this is an audio podcast. So yeah, I know what I'm doing.
It's one of those
Hey,
days.
it's all good. We're here. We're gonna be talking about Slamboree '98, which was
Yes.
yeah, it's an interesting show. But before we get into that, this weekend, I don't know. By the time we drop this, but let's talk about it anyway. This weekend is the Elimination Chamber. Um, they need a big angle on this show to start the hype for WrestleMania because I'm just not feeling like it's WrestleMania season. Uh, what are your predictions in general? We'll start with you, Kyle.
I don't know. I mean, somebody's gonna cost Cody, whether it's Jacob Fatu or Sami Zayn or somebody. And then who knows? It seemed like some weird ass fatal four-way five. I know the internet said that, but it seems like that's the way they're gonna go. Some weird fatal four-way five-way for the men. For the women, I think it's either gonna be Rhea Ripley or somehow Charlotte Flair is gonna get involved. Or this is something I saw online where Cal wins and then gets fed up and like joins the Raw main event, which is a big fuck you to SmackDown, but I could see them doing that. And I'm just gonna go with Danhausen in the crate. I can't think of anybody else.
Okay, yeah, Danhausen the Crate. Pratik, are you going Pratik to Elimination Chamber? Pratik, you there, brother? Hello?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm looking at tickets right now. Again, TKO prices are really not great still. I know they were doing some like they were doing like a buy four get it for like $80 type thing. So we'll see. I'm literally waiting till the last minute. I mean, even our Mania tickets that we went to last year, we waited literally till like 3 hours before
Mhm.
That
we cut
seems to
it
be the way.
close. Which you can't do this year because Mania starts at 2:30. I don't know if you guys read that. That Mania is now starting so much early because
Like
I guess
West Coast time, right?
what like really early for West Coast, and there's like a boxing thing that night too in Vegas. So it seems like there's just a lot of poor planning on TKO's part. I'm not thrilled with it. And they work with UFC and combat and boxing. How did they not plan that ahead of time? So a lot of poor
Well, I
planning.
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the casinos want everyone out earlier because they want, like, we went to the restaurant and spent money. They probably want us to be out and about spending more money so we can get us out earlier. That's what
They
I
don't
would bet.
they don't want that big escalator rush like like last year, the plug up of
Yeah, yeah, like get everybody out before like prime time. That's it. Damn, if we did what we if we repeated our move, I'd have to like leave at 4 in the morning. But okay, I'm down for it.
if the card shapes up for one of the nights, maybe. But I'm really like you said. I just and I know some years. I remember the Mania build for 33 started really slow, and like people weren't interested in Shane and AJ. But like this year really feels like kind of like okay, Roman, CM Punk, sure, kind of. I mean they fought each other last year in a triple threat with Seth, so I'm not like it doesn't feel like there's anything new and exciting just yet. So I'm still curious, but I'm also like, ugh, I how curious am I to go in person? There's watch at home curiosity, then there's in person curiosity, and
I mean, those are your only options. They're stopping all the watch parties now, which
that's
is
true too.
also a big FU to the fans. I know WrestleCon and them they have their little watch parties to get like a Kevin Nash or maybe not this year, but they get like a wrestler to come in and everyone just kind of watches and has a party. They're stopping that for Chamber and they're stopping that for WrestleMania, which like the people weren't going anyway. Like I don't even go to these watch parties, but these people weren't buying tickets anyway. Why are you now going to take that away from them?
I don't think it's going to solve the problem of
No.
selling tickets. And I like how TKO's like, well, it's the wrestlers, it's them. It's like, well, to a degree, but it's also you priced out, which is what we've been saying for a year now since I've joined this podcast. We've been saying for a year, we've priced out the loyal fans. It costs less to go to Disney World than it does
It's
to go
just
to
ridiculous.
WrestleMania.
It's expensive and the show's quality is not that good for you to justify the prices. Like it just isn't.
I remember last year it was like because it used to be SmackDown and Hall of Fame was one show. Which I know some people didn't like, but I like the idea of hey for $100 or whatever you can see two events. Now it's like you have to run. Last year you had to run from SmackDown to the Hall of Fame, which is a separate ceremony. Both of them were like they weren't even that cheap either. They're both like over 300. We were thinking of going. Me and my other friend. I think Ray, you were coming in that night, but we were thinking
Yeah,
of going because of the we were thinking of going for that Bret Hart Stone Cold thing, and then lo and behold, they get 4 minutes on TV. I'm like, I'm gonna go spend all that money for 2 hour Triple H Love Fest, and then 5 minutes for Bret Hart Stone Cold. Like, get the fuck out of here.
You know,
Like,
people were falling asleep. I
right?
remember. I was falling asleep.
You see Booker T just like he's meditating, guys.
Warriors.
Um,
Dude, yeah, the thing about it is, even with all that, so last year was a pretty horrible year in terms of the show. Um, but a report came out, they made more money than the best year of Hulkamania and the best year of the Attitude Era last year. And I guess it's because of the inflated ticket prices.
Inflation.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
no.
my cousin took his kid to three shows. The only two shows I went to last year, no, I went to three shows. I'm sorry. No, I didn't go to a Dynamite in January. Did I go? No, I went to AEW and WrestleMania. But I just want to know, like, how long, like, they're not going to be able to repeat that this year based off vibes. And what I mean by that is that Cena's gone, AJ's gone. Unless you pull a Mick Foley with AJ, I don't know. Um, and like, look, I think that Javon Evans or Drew or Trick Williams should win the Elimination Chamber. But is that going to move tickets? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like Javon Evans versus Drew McIntyre is not going to move tickets. Now, if you're willing to sacrifice this WrestleMania for a future WrestleMania where Javon Evans is like your Shawn Michaels down the road, then yeah, go with that match. But you're going to have to be willing. You're going to have to be willing to sacrifice this WrestleMania to get over Trick Williams if that's the route you want to go. You know, the thing about it is that how long can you justify these high ticket prices? And I think this year might be a good test. I've said this before in the podcast. I think this is the year to elevate new people. I see the people in that pod: Randy versus Drew, who gives a shit? LA Knight versus Drew, who gives a shit? Cody versus Drew, who gives a shit? Javon or Trick, that's something. But you're not going to move tickets. Like it's just the reality is that nobody cares if Trick Williams fights Drew McIntyre, but they will care if Trick Williams beats Drew McIntyre. So you might have to sacrifice this WrestleMania to get to even bigger. And I know what you're saying. How can you keep getting bigger? Sometimes you have to sacrifice some shows, and I think this might be a show to sacrifice. I definitely think the money is in Trick Williams and Drew McIntyre. The money in that it's the best for the company going forward. No one's going to buy a ticket to see that this year. What do you guys think?
I mean, if Roman and Punk is the main, they've already established that Raw is the main events
Mm-hmm.
on both brands. So who who cares, unfortunately, about SmackDown? They're based off the way they're booking. So in a situation like that, why not have SmackDown have like Trick Williams versus Drew McIntyre and I don't know, somebody young in the women's match or like a fresh women's match as well,
Who are the six?
to
Who are the
elevate
six
those.
match?
Rhea, Alexa, Kiana
Raquel.
James, Raquel. I can't remember the two others right now.
It's going to be Rhea. It's going to be Rhea
Oh,
Jade.
Asuka. Yeah, Asuka and one more
I
person.
don't see that happening. Asuka. I think
No, it's not
Rhea's the
even
best
Asuka.
bet, unless they do Charlotte, Jade, which have Charlotte and Jade even. I thought they went together in a singles match, or am I confusing it with
I
something?
don't know. I don't watch SmackDown. I know Kyle does. Have they wrestled those two ding dongs?
No, they've been teasing it, so I can see them doing that or some type of or something where like Charlotte gets the world title shot and Alexa gets the US title shot. They've been teasing Alexa Julia as well.
To
Um,
me, Charlotte, she's had her big matches with Rhea and Tiffany, and she lost both times. Like it'll be predictable to just have a singles with her. And oh, is she gonna win this time? Like it's I don't know. I
I
think
think they also need someone, unfortunately for Jade, that can work with Jade, and that's either Asuka, Rhea, or Charlotte. You know, Jade unfortunately has hurt or has been in the ring with wrestlers and they've been hurt. Her and
yeah,
Tiffany Stratton, the matches aren't terrible, but like they've done that match like 5 times already. Like I do not want to see that
no, you're
like
Yeah.
right.
ever again. It's not going to be Kiana James, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And AJ Lee's got to at least put on a good performance. I don't know if she has to win. I still think Lita should interfere and steal CM Punk, but I know
I don't think that's
I'll
happening.
get that.
I, I thought they were saving that match for Mania. I'm surprised. I guess they're doing it. They had to move tickets in Chicago, so that's why they
Because
kept it.
Lita's gonna take back Punk, gonna win her love back. All right,
They
let's
definitely should do something. I mean, they should. I mean, the discourse, some of the discourse is weak, which is fans. I feel like wrestling fans pick somebody to shit on every just once a week. And this week, beside Harley Cameron, at the end of the week was Natty. Everyone's shitting on the low key legend Natty MMA gimmick. Like, look, it's not amazing. It's not moving any tickets, but the way people were talking about it, you would think that she was like Mantar, which she fucking isn't. So I don't know. Maybe have Natalia be in Becky's corner or like snap an arm or something. I don't know. You can. I think the heels need some type of retribution to give AJ some purpose, which I was saying last week. AJ Lee some purpose.
and then of course there's the matter of Gunther. I think they should do Gunther versus Brock. You know what? Have Gunther answer Brock's open challenge. Be like, if I beat you, you got to retire. I mean, I know Minnesota. I don't know. It's looking rough. I hope you know what? I hope that Bad Bunny's the masked man. I hope
I think
that's
at
what
this point, Vision's not looking so hot.
I know. Well, maybe Dragon Lee can turn heel and join up with Logan Paul to
I
give
was
No.
him.
hoping like Montez was one of the mass because I know there's been multiple mass men. I think that would have been good for him to have some sort of like singles heel angle, which I also can't figure out. Are the Street Profits kind of heel right now, anyways? Like I'm so
They're on NXT. I think Montez Ford is bulking up. I remember the photos came out a couple weeks ago. He was just kind of his abs weren't there, so
yeah.
Yeah,
everybody was like, "What?"
he's
So everyone was
enjoying,
like, "What happened?"
he's enjoying his lunch.
Yeah. Hey,
He's enjoying
Bianca's
catering
hurt.
his food.
He's hurt. Let them cook until it's time to come back. They know
Somebody
how to
needs
get in
to,
shape. I don't. If I get to that spot, I'm screwed.
yeah.
I've been
Uh,
screwed for 10 years.
well, listen, fuck them all. Let's talk about. Actually, hold on. So Paramount has won the bid
Oh,
uh,
yes.
for Warner Brothers. So originally, with the Netflix deal, I think you could make an argument that AEW was going to be affected because they didn't want the cable channels. So maybe AEW could go off with them. However, Paramount wants everything, including the cable channels, and which also includes the ownership stake in AEW. They're fucked. Basically, there's no way TKO has a relationship now because of the UFC with them. Um, their fan base is not going to keep their mouths shut. They're going to keep chanting "fuck ice." Is not going to want that on the network. Uh, I would say that they are screwed. That's my opinion. What do you think, Kyle?
I won't say that they're screwed. I mean, they still have a couple years, and this thing needs to get locked in. And I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. I mean, just for the sake of all of us as creatives, it's a terrible, terrible thing. Neither one was good, but this is like catastrophic. But I think if for whatever reason Paramount dumps AEW or is done with AEW, they'll find their way on Amazon. They already have a relationship with Amazon. They'll find their way elsewhere. I don't think that they'd be screwed. They just have to keep putting on a good show, or at least a show that people want to watch.
Well, they're definitely screwed.
People have been praising the past couple of weeks. I don't know if you've been watching.
The same 10 people that always praise that show. Uh,
Okay.
Pratik, your thoughts?
I think I am more yes, I'm more concerned with Paramount than Netflix, even though I suppose Netflix is from an AEW standpoint, Netflix is more of a competitor, but I feel like Netflix isn't stupid enough to get rid of AEW necessarily because I do know for like original cable programming in that time slot, they were doing okay with those metrics for like I believe Dynamite. I know ratings have gone down all across the board, but I still feel like it's original content for the Turner Company. Like you can't just dump it. Like you could put it somewhere else. Like Kyle said, Amazon. You can even just make it. It works even as original programming for Max or HBO or whatever the hell the streamer is called. So you don't want to lose that asset. And I'm pretty sure their deal isn't done this year. They still have a few more years left on their deal. So I don't see it going away necessarily. But yes, I do think the fuck ice chance. I'm not sure about the Brody was off TV the week before. Now maybe he was in Australia, and that's why.
I'll have to say, I never say this. Meltzer was right. I think Warner Brother wanted him off because it was getting attention, and their
The
talks
wrong
apparently.
attention. It was the wrong attention.
Yeah, it was wrong attention. I think that everyone else has been playing defense on that. I think Meltzer had it right first that they told Tony Khan we don't want him on the fucking TV. Let him fucking. And I wouldn't be surprised that Brody was ordered to lose as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he was if they
I
ordered
mean,
it.
he wasn't gonna win anyway. You're not taking the title off MGF that
That
quickly.
quickly, yeah.
There may not have been a choice in the matter.
Mm.
Like even if they decide to change the booking, you can't change the booking. So
It's unfortunate because when you have someone who's so over right now, like Brody, with this thing, like they're keeping him to like backstage vignettes, or I think he wrestled on Dynamite if I'm not mistaken. But I know he had a
Mm.
backstage vignette. Like that's someone who forget the ice chance for a second. Like just from a booking standpoint, which we've seen in WWE, you've seen this in other companies. You have somebody who kind of gets over, gets like that main event title spot, then they lose, and then just where do they go? Like no, keep him on TV at least. Maybe if you have to make him not wear the ice shirt, fine, whatever. I'm just worried about the man's push right now, and I think he's over with fans. Keep him on TV, even if he's wrestling Andretti or whoever. Just have him squash people like week after week. Like keep the fans invested. Like, oh, I cheered for someone. Like let's see him on TV. Because what will happen is if he disappears for a while, fans are going to lose interest, and then when they try to push him, they're like, well, nobody react. I'm like, yeah, because you kept him away for so long. So I'm less worried about the ice stuff. I'm worried about Brody's push, and like
I mean,
how he.
yeah. I know he's on Revolution. I know he's gonna fight. He's
Oh, he
gonna
will
be
be.
on
He'll be
Revolution,
good.
yeah. And Bandido's fighting Andrade. I know that.
That'll be
But I know he like called out to fight somebody, so we'll see.
okay. Open, a lot of open challenges.
Exactly. Go fight AJ Styles. That's what it'll be.
well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with this Brody Lee bozo? All right, or Brody King, all these guys, all these Brodies. All right,
Do you want to
let's.
mention Harley Cameron real quick about the
Uh,
bullying? People are pieces of shit.
yeah. Yeah, so Penelope Ford was doing a moonsault to the outside. Harley Cameron moved out of the way. Penelope Ford is now injured. I saw the clip. Harley Cameron shouldn't be in those positions. She moved out of the way. And here's the thing: people have been hyping her up. She's not that good. She's not ready to be on TV. She's really funny. She's very pretty. She's very athletic, I guess. She's not you can't put her in like that position. You can't put her in those she's not ready for it. And that's just the end of the day. They put these women in these positions where like they're not ready. Like I'm not gonna put even if Eva Marie starts showing me a little bit of improvement in 2013, I'm not going to put her in a match with Masawa. I mean, it's not ready. She's going to fuck it up, and Masawa's going to have another broken neck or whoever, fucking Ibushi, whatever, it's anyone. You can't do that to them. And ultimately, when I saw her step out of the way, it just everything I've seen this girl is that people are saying how great she is. Yeah, she's pretty, she's funny, but so she's an actress. She's not a wrestler. And when you put her in that situation, her instinct was out of fear to move out of the way. Should she be harassed? No, but like she should have been put in that position. She shouldn't have been put in that spot. And not everybody's Will fucking Osprey. And someone got hurt because everyone wrestles like they're Will fucking Osprey. So, Kyle, what do you think of this chick?
No, well, I think, well, I like Harley Cameron. I mean, she's learning as a wrestler. I agree. If that's the spot you're going to put her in and she's not trained or prepared to do that, don't put her in that kind of position. But yeah, that's why she's in a tag team right now. She's in a tag team with an established wrestler like Willow. And that's someone that you can like feed off of and learn from and continue to learn from, not somebody that, she's not main event Harley, not yet. Maybe someday, we never know. We don't know yet. But yeah, she shouldn't have been in that position. I think the fans' vitriol is just another issue. I think way bigger issue where just she had to deactivate Twitter because people were that negative, like just pointing the fingers and I guess saying death threats and other horrible, disgusting things that she nor other wrestlers deserve. That's my bigger concern. I think it's messed up. I think because I see it every week about, and even like Jay Uso will like post a story being like, y'all won or something.
Well,
That's why he gets
all these
like,
wrestlers, all these wrestlers need to get off Twitter. Twitter is basically it's a right wing pedo site, and
yes, but
shitting
I
on
also
people.
think it's the algorithms now. Like you can't, like
It's like
you're
your
stuck
fault.
like seeing this stuff no matter where you go.
It's your fault, and I feel like the WWE guys don't have a say because I think like you have to have a Twitter unless you're CM Punk because they want to interact. But like that's your fault for being on Twitter. I mean, what do you think they're gonna say? Great job. I mean, these people are like demonizing black people and trans people all day. You think they're not going to give you a hard time about your legitimate fuck up? You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that, but I think there's just a limit. People fuck up, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just another example of how just toxic and terrible social media has become. It doesn't matter what your fan base is, WWE, AEW. I think you guys need to, not you guys, but the fans need to fucking step back and look at themselves. Also, Misawa versus Eva Marie would be crazy in that year because Misawa died in '09.
Oh
So
boy.
I would have definitely paid to see that in 2013.
Yeah.
We can create that
Well,
on 2K6, 2K26
there you
26,
go.
which is
those
another can of
mods or
worms.
whatever. Yeah.
So, Pratik, your thoughts on Harley Cameron
I
ruining
mean,
another
again, yeah,
one?
just fan social. I understand why WWE wants wrestlers on some social media. It can enhance angles. I know in 2018, 2019, there's like clips of like Miz and Baron Corbin in interviews saying like, "Hey, we barely had any TV time for our programs, and we would use social media, and it could enhance an angle. It could do something." But we're in a different era with social media now, and I think a wrestler should have a choice whether or not they want to be on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever. I mean, I feel like all those sites can be cesspools. I believe CM Punk does have an Instagram still, and even then, all those sites you can. But with Instagram, at least you have a bit more control over deleting comments. Whereas with Twitter, I do think Twitter is probably the most egregious of all the social media sites. But yeah, it does feel like WWE wants their people on Twitter, but I think Twitter's not even. If you want to get the younger people, Twitter's not even it. Like you're better off just
No,
being on
it isn't it.
you're better off being
No.
on TikTok. Well, TikTok is that's. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other conversation. But
Which I think
yeah,
is also going to be owned by the guy who owns Paramount. If
there
he
you
doesn't own
go.
it
Yeah,
already, yeah.
yeah, that's my thing. It's like Harley Cameron shouldn't be on Twitter. Like the way the women that she's going to attract are on TikTok and on Instagram, and I think she's
Right.
going to attract women to watch her on the show with reels, with TikToks. It's not with Twitter. So I mean, honestly, and also like Ricochet. This is the other thing too. These wrestlers like to fan it. Ricochet fans a lot of. Dave Meltzer does a lot of like wars. The reporters seem in bed with AEW over there. And it
Ricochet
creates
shit
a
stirring
really
with different companies and all. Like he's
like AEW creates a really AEW has created a really toxic atmosphere, especially on Twitter. So I don't. I mean, it's fucked up, but it's like I don't know. It's like walking into a rapist convention and being like, "Why is everybody trying to rape me? I just want to sit here and have a coffee at my this rapist convention." It's
I
like
mean,
that's
they do have really good coffee for some reason at the convention.
want to have a
that is
coffee.
a
But it's like that's exactly. But anyway, but my whole point is that the other thing too is we don't have house shows because
Well,
people are like I think the problem was especially with a lot of AEW people is that they're learning on TV. And so we're seeing the fuck ups that they would have fucked up in private on a house show. I'm sure Trish Stratus messed up a lot of spots. They were on house shows, and Dave Finlay or Arn Anderson took her to the back and they beat her. And then she stopped fucking up. Um, no, like they told her like you can't do that if you do it on TV. Like what I'm saying. Like I'm sure like people had talking. Like John Cena.
I mean, she had the perfect example. They put her and Jackie Gator and not Molly, and like JBL, Molly Holly. It was some match. It was like Bradshaw and Trish against Jackie
Mhm.
Gator and Chris Nowinski, I want to say. Why does my brain remember that? But the match was so bad because Jackie Gator had 2 minutes of wrestling experience
Yeah.
and Trish had like 1 year wrestling experience, and it was very obvious and terrible. So like
Mhm.
that should be your warning. Don't put these people in these situations, male or female, that they are not ready for.
Yeah, but I think, but also AEW doesn't have a lot of time. There's not a lot of place for them to practice, and I think, but that's fine. But then, like, you need to give people like Harley Cameron because a lot of people they say are good are not good, and that Julia Hart, this girl, there's a couple other ones they're just not good because they've just been learning on TV, you need to get these people into you need to like send some of these people to OVW for like a few months, and
Or
then and
just give
that's
them more indie dates, or like require them if you haven't put in the years, you need to do 20 indie dates or something on your own. Like, I know WWE is less interested in working unless they'll work with certain indies, but I do think when you have these newer people coming into NXT, like they should still be on the indies. Or I know they're running a few NXT house shows, but at the very least, send them to indie. If you don't have the like, it should be you've hit this minimum number of hours. Otherwise, go to the indies. To take your weekends off, or if you're not in a major. I understand if you're a title holder, maybe don't go to indies or something, but you're seeing that still with AEW's weird about what they allow title. Like I literally like MJF is going to House of Glory and holding the AEW title. So clearly Tony Khan has a different, parameters for title holders. But if you're not in a major program, go do like I liked last year at like Bloodsport, you're seeing Charlie Dempsey or whoever who's not in a major Natty, who wasn't in a major program. Like, yeah, if you're not holding anything, go do the indies. Like get your reps in because where else are you gonna get the reps right now? So I think
But
that's
also
where
on
you're
the flip,
seeing
at least in AEW, they're not letting it. Like Deonna Purrazzo's trying to wrestle. She put that out there, and they won't let
yeah,
her go anywhere.
right.
I don't
So
understand.
it's weird who Tony Khan seems to have selective allowances, and he should be just if you don't have the experience, let them go, or if they're not in something, let them go. Like he was doing that with Ray Phoenix for a while too. He wasn't letting before Ray Phoenix got released. He was trying to get out too. So I don't know what's. It's weird what he's doing.
It's debatable if
Yeah.
Larry Phoenix should have stayed or not, based on the year he had.
Well,
But
maybe he's happier. I hope.
maybe.
I would hope whoever is going to WWE from AEW, there. I hope even Rusev is happier where he is. Who knows? Who knows?
listen. Let's guys. Let's listen. Ultimately, though, it is her fault, and she deserves to be chased out of society. Okay,
No, no,
let's
no, no.
Jeez.
let's let's move on to 1998 when things made sense. It's Slamboree 98. Uh, this is a weird show, and I'll tell you what the weirdness is. It's the constant presence of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. This is the show where Bischoff decides to challenge Vince McMahon. And, in my memories, I thought it was like one or two segments. No, they talk about Vince McMahon the entire show. And it's bad in hindsight because I think that they are kind of the sense I got from how everyone's talking about Vince on this show is that they think it's stupid and pathetic that the ratings are going up because Vince is a character. And I think that they think that it's dumb and it's a flash in the pan and they're going to win eventually once again. And it comes across as, man, you are really underestimating this guy. And not just as a businessman and as a competitor, but as a performer. Like the tone I get from this show is like, you have no idea the world of hurt that is headed your way, all of you. Um, and it kind of hurts the show, the constant mention of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. What did you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that from when I was a kid, that the whole Vince coming in, Vince, the talk about Vince, and I mean, I was curious who he was going to show up, but it is a definitely constant thing that they keep saying, keep talking about. And the weird thing is, we talk about it, I think almost every WCW pay-per-view, the matches are good up until like their main event shenanigans. So you
Mm-hmm.
have a good show. You're just more focused on the WWE and what WWE is doing and all that stuff. And you have the talent. You just don't realize you have the talent. And we see it almost every month. Like we have like this is great, this is great, this is great, this is great, and then weird ass swerve that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So like the WWE obsession ends up hurting them, which we find out later in the long run. But it ends up
Yeah,
hurting them here and it ends up hurting them up until the end of their days.
because they seem very nervous and insecure on this show. It's like it's only been a month. Like you can easily turn this around. It's only been a month, and like it's not even like you're this bothered already. You're this bothered already, and it's like, bro, you got Goldberg, you have you've got the Wolf Pack, you've got Sting, you've got Guerrero, you've got Benoit pre-murder. There's a lot of things you can use, and you're like already like nervous about this guy, and it comes across so like
They have so
uh,
much
I,
talent
I
on this
know
show. Sorry. They have
It
so
comes
much
from
talent on
very,
this
I'm not
show.
bothered. Don't tell the cops don't tell the papers I'm not bothered or something. Yeah. What are you gonna say?
No, so they have so much talent on this show that Bret Hart and Macho Man Randy Savage almost feels like a out of place, like an afterthought. They have
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
developed like talent that they could have developed and worked with. Now, when we've seen in the past next 10 years become stars that like they just didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. No, I know. Pratik, your thoughts.
I think that what I'm noticing, so when I was younger, I tended to watch just more WWF Attitude Era, but as I'm going through these pay-per-views with you guys with the WCW, I'm just noticing it seems like WCW just isn't taking faith into their mid card. Whereas the Attitude Era, yes, mid card matches were shorter, but they still believed in their mid card. They were giving them multiple times to have multiple short matches, whether it was heat or pre-show of a pay-per-view, or even in the middle of the pay-per-view, they'll give them those 8-9 minutes. They'll give them a few more minutes. Whereas like matches on this show, like I just know I'm not going to get into specifics just yet, but it seemed like some of the times were cut last minute or they were rushing things, and it just seems like I'm noticing that more and more on these WCW pay per views. Like you have these talented men, and you're just not giving them the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. It's weird. So let's get into the show. So we kick off that they show Bischoff's promo on Thunder about reading the legal letters, acting like he's Howard Stern, all this nonsense. Doug Dillinger is waiting to escort Vince McMahon to his dressing room, wasting time. People pay $30 to stare at Doug Dillinger sitting in a backyard or a driveway. Okay, so now we get to the first match. It's Fit Finley versus Chris Benoit. So back in '98, I was like, why? Okay, I was like, oh, cool. They gave a loser the belt. That's kind of fun. And I'm like, why is the loser beating everybody up? And now I know, obviously, he wasn't a loser. This is a pretty good, hard hitting start. It's a pretty good match. The only thing about it is, I just don't think WCW did enough for people like me back then to tell me why I should care about Finley. I thought Finley was a Saturday night jobber. And in my mind, it was kind of funny that he got the belt, but they didn't do anything to tell me, like, oh no, this guy's legit. Like, they didn't do enough. Now I know because now I know about Hornswoggle and my name is Finley and I love to fight. But the match is good. But back in the day, I wasn't into it because I thought, why is Benoit struggling with this loser? And now I'm like, okay, yeah, this was pretty good. I enjoyed this match a great deal. These guys beat the shit out of each other. What did you think?
No, it's a good match. It's a scary match knowing what happens to Chris Benoit later. Just seeing some of those spots.
Hmm.
Unnecessary stuff to do. But I was the same way. Anytime I think of Finley, I think of Saturday Night. I thought he still had the mustache and the long hair. But
Hmm.
I was like, oh no, this is like blonde Finley. Cool. But yeah, why is he the champion? I don't understand it. He's not somebody that is necessarily over, but that doesn't mean they're not going to put on a bad match. Booker T was still in the background. They were still keeping that going. So, no, overall, really good match, but I do wish they gave you a reason to care about Finley. If they gave you a reason to care about half of these guys, we could be in a different place right now. We would have
Yeah,
been.
exactly. It would be, but they didn't do enough. What did you think, Pratik?
Yeah, same sentiments. Hard hitting match. I haven't watched a ton of Finley stuff, so it was a great little time capsule for me. But like you guys said, if I was a kid watching this, I'd be like, wait, oh, like, and then you have Booker T in the background, and I do think for the kids, it kind of overshadows. I know as an adult wrestling fan, I understand it didn't really detract from the match itself, but as a kid, it kind of it makes you care less about them. So I think yeah, there could have been they could have done a couple different things back then to kind of make you care a bit more about the story of the match as opposed to just, oh, Booker T's in the back waiting.
Yeah, no, I know, and yeah, but good start. Up next we got Jericho and Lee Marshall. Jericho cutting a funny interview slash promo with Lee Marshall. They're having a good time. God, I wish those recordings would resurface. That's something for the Vault or the WCW YouTube channel, huh, guys? Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they have them. Or if they do, they're keeping them far, far away because who knows what these guys were saying.
Oh, yeah, they'll get canceled on Twitter. They'll get the jerk will have to delete his Twitter, and so no one will find out he's banging Holly Cameron. All right, cool.
Oh
All
boy.
right, there we go. Come on. I should never
Hey,
brought
guys,
it.
relax. All right, all right. So up next, Lex Luger versus Brian Adams. Man, the fall off of Lex from '96 to now. is insane. Like this is a short match that stinks. They brought in Brian Adams. I think he was good friends with Savage. He was good friends with a couple of guys on the roster. Just didn't have it anymore. Luger's barely trying. It's 5 minutes. Man, Luger was whooping ass just a year ago. He was over. I mean, he was a big deal, and now it's like he gets 5 minutes of the pay per view. Nobody gives a shit. Really shockingly how we get already a bad match on the show. Not good. Not good. What did you think, Kyle?
Not good at all. I feel bad because I like Crush Brian Adams. I like the character. Unfortunately, Brian Adams is that guy who always gets booked on his friend's shows and he bombs, but he keeps getting booked. And you're like, I don't understand why Brian Adams is like headlining right now. But it's because he knows a lot of good people. Uh, he was good at a time. It just isn't clicking. And I don't think it clicks until Chronic and that clicks for a little bit, but like it's not a good match. Just not a good match. Nobody looked good there.
No, nobody looked good. Critique your thoughts.
Nobody looked good. It only, I mean, if you're trying to make a list of the downfall of Luger matches, this would definitely be in there. Like even at 5 minutes, it was too long. Like it was just, yeah. So
I
no,
was like, what's going on here?
no,
Uh,
I struggled to get
yeah. So then we get a quick promo from Saturn saying that he's going to fight Goldberg later tonight, which is great because Goldberg needs another squash. So that's good. Good for Goldberg. He gets to squash Saturn. Do you got any thoughts on this promo, Kyle?
Yeah, it's fine. It's Saturn being Saturn.
Yeah, he's a real bozo. Pratik, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was serviceable promo. It did the job. I'm still waiting for Moppy and Saturn. That was prime Saturn for me was Moppy.
You're welcome.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Moppy. All right. Up next, we got the Cruiserweight Battle Royal. This is a legendary segment, probably the most famous segment on this show. It's Jericho does the introductions for the all the wrestlers. He insults everyone. It's really funny. He has some really good lines. Uh, so many. He has so many funny lines. I can't remember. I remember. I wanted to remember them, but what was shocking to me is like there was a lot of people in this that it was. I was shocked how many like just Mexican. I don't know. Like it was like man, it's a big division, but a lot of these people like just don't mean anything to anyone. Like Liz Mark Jr. wasn't in this, which I was surprised by. He wasn't in this. Um, so the match starts. It's just a regular like battle royal. It's fine. Like it's not like these guys. It's not like these guys are can a battle royal is a great equalizer. Doesn't matter how good of a worker you are. It's the same fucking match. You just can only work one style of match in a battle royal. So it comes down to Cyclope and Juventud. And, everyone's like, Cyclope, okay. And Juventud just kind of looks at him. Takes a little bit too long. I think he's supposed to be telling a story with his face that he recognized Cyclope or whatever. He doesn't really do it. He just kind of like stares at him blankly. Jumps out of the ring. Jericho gets in the ring. Cyclope unmasks. And it's Dean Malenko. And they wrestle. And I was surprised. The one thing I was surprised, I could have swore I remembered that Dean Malenko squashed Jericho. And he does it. It's 7 minutes long. However, it's a really fun 7 minutes. This is a great segment. It's the biggest pop you're ever going to hear for Dean Malenko. This is like it just goes to show that when you have talent involved and you tell the right story, people are going to get invested. People are going to care. People cared about Dean Malenko. They shit the bed after this, and then they don't care ever again. But a really fun segment, and Jericho is just he is at the top of his game right now. He's probably the best performer in WCW all around. He's a great sports entertainer. Your thoughts, Kyle?
No, it's the highlight of the show. One of the bigger highlights of the show. I'm with you. I thought it was like Dean Malenko beats the shit out of him. I don't know. I go back and forth on how I feel if Dean Malenko should have just squashed him or like if I like the match. It's kind of like when you're playing the game and you're like, all you have to do is hit the finisher and then the wrestler all of a sudden is like has a momentum again. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? That's what was
Mhm.
happening to Dean Malenko. But no, it's a really, really good moment. As for the cruiserweights in the match. I don't know. I mean, it's most of the people that I can think of, and Marty Jannetty. I know Ray was hurt. Um, there's Mark Jr. I guess he had like something in Mexico, and Eddie and Ultimate are fighting each other later. But no, I remembered it then. I remember it now. I'm back when our good friend the WWE Network was still a thing. I would go and watch it. That moment at least, it's just probably one of the best WCW moments of all time.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I enjoyed it. But critique your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely a Dean Malenko highlight. I like the battle royal. I think the one good thing about everything was times were kept, perfect. The battle royal didn't drag too long, and then the match with Jericho didn't drag too long. I thought it was great. Yeah, I was. I guess I didn't know Ray was hurt. Yeah, I was surprised. Like Ray wasn't in it, but yeah, for what it was great. And then yeah, Jericho's intros at the top. I can't remember specific lines, but just overall very entertaining and definitely one of the highlights of the night. One of the shining spots for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But here's the thing: so far, like this show has had one great match, one bad match, and then one sports entertainment thing. So it's already like it's kind of like has a different flavor than the previous WCW shows, which usually start with like three bangers, three real graps, and now it's like different little variety. Now we get a Vinnie Mac cam. It's like, all right, come on, guys, just fucking give it up. Uh, Next up, the Bowery Death Match. It's DDP versus Raven. It's in a cage. Last man standing rules. There's weapons in the corner. It's what it is basically the TNA Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. This is like a Raven idea. These guys beat the shit out of each other. The flock comes in. There's a riot squad. Horace Hogan's there. And then fucking Canyon comes out as Mortis and he beats him up. It's all over the place. It's crazy. It's fun. Definitely a fun brawl. Not as good as the last two brawls. This is the official start of Canyon as Canyon, and he continues to be Canyon until Vince McMahon loses his life. So, Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's just a crazy brawl. I think the fans are into it. I think fans are into the flock, DDP. Just another example of these guys kind of in the mid card, upper mid card that could have helped elevate WCW within the next year, 2 years. And besides DDP did fine. It just didn't work out that way. But the match itself was good and just fun. Seeing Raven do like diamond cutters and bringing in VCRs and stuff. I was entertained.
Yeah, were you sports entertained?
Always.
Yes. Pratik, your thoughts?
No, this is a great match, and for me, I didn't really remember this from my childhood, so it's been good to kind of get like a good primer on Ravens WCW stuff, and it was great. Yeah, it kind of felt a little Hell in a Celly, but in a good way. I liked it. Yeah, it was. Again, it shows. It's also we're seeing the rise of DDP, even though they're not really treating him like a main eventer. The crowd is still they're in it. They're trying to support him, and you do see a little bit later he gets that push. So this was a good thing for me, a good snapshot to see. Like you're seeing the rise of him. Good program, good match, good dance partner, and yeah, these are the people WCW should be really putting their focus on. This could have easily been like something towards the end of the show, but I mean it was fine where it was, but I think WCW needed to place more faith into these players as well.
Well, you know what? They had the end of the show last month, and they overshined Sting and Savage. So I'm sure the big wigs were like, "Put him back down the card, brother."
Right.
You know. But no, really fun match. Up next, we have another good match. Eddie Guerrero versus Ultimo Dragon. Again, the placement of the match on this card is weird. It's not a traditional placement. Usually, it's be earlier. The stipulation is if Ultimo Dragon wins, Eddie Guerrero's got to let Chavo go. Um, these guys do a really fun cruiserweight style match. It wasn't the greatest, surprisingly. These guys, I don't know, there was something not meshing with them, but it was still fine. It was still fun. Eddie Guerrero wins. Again, not it was nowhere near the level of matches he has with Rey Mysterio, but it was okay. What do you think, Kyle?
It was fine. It was like I'm not gonna complain about an Ultimo Dragon Eddie Guerrero match. Not saying that you are. I'm just not gonna complain about one. It wasn't match of the year, but it's told the story that it needed to tell. And then Chavo at the end kind of snapping, and I can't remember if Chavo is now like more with Eddie after this point or not. I can't remember, but it was a good. I thought that part was really really good as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. What do you think, Pratik?
Yeah, good mesh of storyline angle with the Chavo stuff, and then the match itself was great. Again, like yeah, I so maybe not match of the year, but that's just because Eddie has such a high standard to live up to. But I was still very happy with the match, and again, this is for me this is classic Eddie, and I will always enjoy an Eddie Guerrero match, and this was icing on the cake for me. Definitely one of there were a couple highlights of the pay per view, and this is definitely one of them as well.
Yeah, awesome. So up next, the big one, the big one, Goldberg versus Saturn. These two are pretty good. Um, Goldberg wins squash in 7 minutes, but Saturn has some offense. Hey man, fucking what can you say? I've said it all. Goldberg just had it. Everyone's jealous of him. He had it. These two had good chemistry. Saturn always made Goldberg look good. I'm shocked. I mean, unless Saturn was on drugs, I would have rehired Saturn just to let him get squashed by Goldberg on Raws in 2003, just so Goldberg could get his juice back. Really fun match. Kyle, what did you think?
Yeah, it was fine. It's sad hard for Saturn unless your name is Mike Bell. It's a half a bad match. Goldberg and Saturn kind of Goldberg. Saturn might be one of Goldberg's best dance partners, like an underrated dance partner, because the matches I've seen them have, neither one has been bad. Saturn's out offense has not hindered Goldberg in any way. It seemed to really click for the both of them. So. Yeah, there should have maybe been more Goldberg Saturn matches out there. But yeah, it served its purpose. Goldberg won. Saturn didn't look like a loser, and the streak continues.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Pratik, your thoughts?
Yeah, echoing Kyle's sentiments. Yeah, Saturn, great dance partner, one of the more better dance partners that doesn't get discussed, and yeah, it didn't feel like a typical Goldberg squash match. It felt like Saturn got some offense in, and for that time, that's surprising. So yeah, I'll put this up there. This was for a Goldberg match. I went in with very low expectations, so yeah, I'm happy to see that there was some offense, and yeah, good dance partner. And you're again for me, this is a good time capsule match that I think if people haven't watched it, definitely go back and watch it because you get to kind of see sort of the build of Goldberg and the rise of that streak. And you need to not just have squashes, you need to have a couple difficult matches. So I thought this was a good match as part of Goldberg's streak history.
They only fought twice, apparently.
Really
Yeah,
surprising.
Wow, oh, that's crazy. Um, oh, yeah, and both were on pay-per-view.
Oh,
Mm.
back-to-back
Well,
shows.
up next, match of the year: Eric Bischoff versus Vince McMahon. Complete waste of time. Complete waste of time. Just the height of arrogance, the height of stupidity. You already lost. You already lost. Vince won. Vince won tonight. Everything. It's just, man. It just. I'm listening to visual podcasts, and him and fucking Vampiro are talking about how you have to have a carnivore diet, and you have to cook by a frequency, and you have to do this, all this insane bullshit. And I'm just like, you were always an idiot. Vince was always smarter than you. You lucked out because you had Hogan. The war was between Hogan and Vince. It wasn't between you and Bischoff. Just it is really sad when someone's getting their ass kicked, acts like they're not getting their ass kicked, and that's Bischoff in this segment. I thought this was one of the most embarrassing segments in a while. What did you think, Kyle?
I think in hindsight, I just was like, I already know what happened, so I didn't pay it that much mind in terms of rate. I just thought it was stupid, and like we said, it overshadows the whole show. Nothing comes of it. Like no one else comes out. It's just kind of an ego stroking thing, and it backfires. It backfires heavy. Not immediately, but it backfires, and they continue to kind of do pranks and bullshit like this and it is their downfall. So when you're looking back at WCW, I know WWE gets a lot of crap for the revisionist history and that they kind of tell their own story. But you can watch the nitros and the pay-per-views and see where they went wrong. And this is one of the moments that you see, all right, well, this is some place where they went very, very wrong and they never really fully recovered.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's really it's just like It's just that the okay, because I'm rewatching some of these Vince segments. Vince becomes such a good performer so fucking fast, and it's not what you expected him to be. And every week he gets more and more comfortable, and he blows Bischoff away as a performer. And you know, just the way Bischoff's acting, it just is like, man, you don't hold a candle to this guy. You don't hold a candle to this guy. And I'm not making this the praise. It's just that they had no clue, or maybe they did. They had no clue what they were up against. Well, someone did. We'll get into that in a second. They had no clue what they were up against. You know,
No, I agree. I
they
think,
have no clue.
yeah,
They have no clue the monster they awaken.
yeah,
They have
I
no
think.
clue.
I think they saw the small ratings dip, and I guess we got to go back into 1998. It's really easy for us to watch and say this in 2026, but they saw the small ratings dip, tried to do whatever they could to change that, and it just did not work. I think if you stuck with your roster, and we're gonna keep saying this, I think for the next couple of years, if you stuck with your roster and just good stories, you could have done it. Because there are moments where Nitro does beat Raw until the Mick Foley thing. Like it's not like Nitro is in the 2000s where it's like a 1.4. Like you're still in the race, but you're taking yourself out of the race while doing these things.
Yeah. I know it's just weird and it comes across very lame. Pratik, what did you think?
Yeah, this was pointless segment. I don't really remember from a kid, and I wish I had forgot. I wish I'd kept it forgotten. But yeah, this was. It didn't help anything. It didn't serve anything, and if anything, it just probably took time away from what could have been more wrestling. I think that's. I think WCW should have focused on the wrestling as opposed to the. This feels almost Russo-y, but Russo's not there yet. But it has fingerprints of Russo in a way too, like gimmicky for the sake of gimmicks.
Yeah, it is Russo-y, but without Russo, which makes it see Russo would have had Booker T come out just like Vince McMahon and job with Bischoff. All right, let's move on to what a few years before this would have been a dream match. I mean, can you imagine if this match had made evented WrestleMania 9? I would have loved it. And now it's just like, whatever. It's Bret Hart versus Randy Savage. Roddy Piper is the ref. I mean, the star power here is off the shelves. Now, Hulk Hogan interferes. Why was Hulk Hogan there? Hulk Hogan was not booked for this pay-per-view. He came because he said to Bischoff, "There's I feel like Vince might just show up to like taunt you with his cameras." Hogan came to see if Bischoff was going to show up, and then they worked him in to do an interference. That's the story. He just showed up the day of because he was like, maybe Vince will show up, and I want to see it if he does. The match is okay. Savage is in the Wolfpack, so the Wolfpack has already started. Liz gets interferes. Bret Hart makes Savage submit. Um, it's okay. It's okay. It's a lot of interference, a lot of nonsense. Piper and Bret Hart are acting like strangers after the closeness they established in '92. Again, sometimes they want to hold to WWF continuity. Sometimes they ignore it. I don't know. But it's okay. I think it's not what it could have been in '95 or '94, but it's okay. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just okay. I mean, it's more brawl heavy in the beginning than I was anticipating. I think they did mention that they never wrestled before. They wrestled like on a Saturday night's main event or something like that. That which match might be better than the one that we watched in '98. I don't remember the match that well, but it's just okay. And for the level of the people involved, it's disappointing. If it was anybody else, it would have been like, okay, fine, whatever. Like Ultimo Dragon and Eddie Guerrero. Like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, cool. They didn't have a great match, but they had a good match. Awesome. This had such a this like you said could have sold out of WrestleMania. Maybe you should have sold out of WrestleMania. And I guess we're just a couple years too late. You have an unmotivated Bret Hart. You have an injured Randy Savage because he did the jump and broke his knees. It just wasn't what everybody wanted it to be, and it's just unfortunate. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't it.
Yeah, wasn't it? And again, I'm pretty. I don't know if you've been here when I said this. I don't think this is so much Randy Savage. I think Bret Hart was broken by the Montreal Screwjob, and he's just not what he was. And also, Randy Savage isn't what he was because of all his injuries. But I don't know. I just feel like this guy can't deliver what they're paying him to deliver. Critique your thoughts.
Yeah, there's something you can tell Bret Hart's just not in it. It's the equivalent of a stand-up comic doing a casino gig. You know, you're just there for the money, but you're not your heart's not something just yeah, something felt off about this. And I felt like, yeah, if this was Mania 9 or just a few years prior, it would have been a fucking classic. But yeah, just it's not we're just not getting what we're and then yeah, a lot of brawling up top too. I feel like the interferences were just to kind of keep it going. But yeah, I wanted to like this more, and I just yeah, it just felt like everybody was on. It felt like everybody was on autopilot. Piper was entertaining, but it was also like yeah, like you're not establishing their history. I wish they were they had it just felt off. I wanted to like it more, but it was just maybe 2 years too late. You sometimes you don't get what you wish for. So
Yeah. No, I know it's sad. Okay, now we get the main event. Speaking of things you don't get what you wish for. So so I remember this match that the Giant and Scott Hall beat up fucking Kevin Nash and they become NWO Hollywood. I forgot that the Giant is already on, in the NWO before the match, and Sting still fucking teams with him. So Giant is already NWO Hollywood. He wants Sting to join NWO Hollywood. The Hall and Nash come out. They're NWO Wolfpack. All right. There's this big, this is part where Scott Hall would vanish for a little bit because his drugs are so out of control. Scott Hall comes back, does a complete babyface promo. The Wolfpack, I guess, are the faces in this match, I guess. Then the match goes for a really long time. This is a really long match. Okay? I thought this match was short because of the ending. I remember the ending. It's not. Scott Hall turns on Kevin Nash, joins with the Giant in Hollywood, and then they're asking Sting to join. And Sting stands there looking like an idiot. Watching all this in a row, the way they went out of their way to kill the Sting character from December to now. First of all, why is Sting willing to walk out with the Giant after knowing the Giant's in the NWO? That's number one. Number two, Sting just stands there looking like a moron. Kevin Nash lies while they beat up Kevin Nash. It just doesn't make. And also, why would you? If this was Scott Hall's mindset the entire time, why would you wrestle a long match? Why wouldn't you just turn on Kevin Nash 2 minutes in? Because what if Sting like fucking got the jump on you? What are you gonna do? Jump up and then who cares if you trade Kevin? We already lost the belts. Just a terrible main event, and man, they are just every single pay per view they do something to make Sting look like a big fucking idiot, and then they want to blame him. I mean, they do this to Luger, they do this to Sting, and then they tell you that nobody in WCW got over because they spent all their fucking pay per views making sure you leave the pay per view thinking the WWF guys are so fucking cool and awesome, and the WCW guys are dumb fucking pieces of shit, and then they wonder why they went out of business. Kyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. You have a good roster, and like, everything could be going well, and then you do some stunt really stupid like this, and then it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you don't want to support it. I also think they want you to tune. This is back in the we need to tune in the Monday era. So this happened. So you need to see what Sting does on Monday because you need the rating and you need to beat Raw. That was the most important thing at the time, which just kind of hurts it in the long run. But sorry about that. But I think it's just Sting might have to be kayfabe wise one of the dumbest wrestlers of all time. Just the way that you've set him up in multiple occasions, he's just not that bright. It's like him and Rey Mysterio. They're just idiots. In storyline wise, I don't know about in real life, but it's just another one of those things where you're just like, this doesn't make any sense at all. But guess you have to tune in on Monday to see what happens next. But some people will tune out when you keep doing that over and over and over again, which has been almost all the shows we've been watching. The main event has had some weird ass shenanigan, which just kind of puts a big asterisk on the whole night.
Yeah, no, 100%. Critique your thoughts?
Yeah, again, I understand that you're trying to play the ratings game, and I understand building stories. There's a way to build a story past a pay-per-view without making the main players look like idiots. And yeah, to me, this is, I forgot how much of an idiot Sting looked like in some of these matches. So that's been my real sort of watching these pay-per-views going back with you guys. I'm just like, man, they're making Sting look like a fool and it's not just look, you want to have a shoddy, weird, controversial ending one pay-per-view, fine. It's been happening pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. I feel like if I was a fan in 1998 spending, fucking hard-earned money on these pay-per-views, pay-per-views weren't cheap back then either. At some point you're gonna get pissed off. At some point you're gonna be like, what the fuck? I feel like if you were in the arena, you'd also be like, what the fuck? Like it's I've left pay-per-views I've attended with weird tastes in my mouth. I just can't imagine what the WCW fan in 1998 is thinking, and it's just like, oof, like it's. And the sad thing is, again, you had an amazing, you not amazing, but you had a very decent undercard this time that you could have worked with, and you're just kind of like you're kicking everyone in the nuts on the way out. Like, thanks for coming. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like how you keep doing this, and it's like people are eventually just not gonna, and it happens. People just don't care about Sting. You just kept doing this. You just kept, you got you Sting and Luger a year ago are white hot, and now like
Kicking ass and looking cool.
and now they're getting nothing because you spent you go out of they would go out of their way to, and then they do it to Goldberg eventually. They go out of their way to kill the Heat. And again, you want to say, look, if Paramount, if this merger causes AEW to get kicked off the network, you can say Tony Khan can certainly say, I was out of my hands, big merger. Paramount wanted us to pledge allegiance to Trump. It was out of my hands, this, that, and the third. But if you book a better show and a show that appeals to more people, Paramount is going to work with you. AEW doesn't do that. Okay, I know we pretend they're doing good. They're not. Same thing with WCW. I know that there was a merger and they wanted, but if there was not a record of the ratings sliding and interest dying down, there might have been more of a push to keep them on the network. But there wasn't because every single time you got someone hot, you went out of your way to knock them down. And yes, maybe WCW could have been making money like WWF now, and TNT still would have kicked them off the network in 2001. Maybe. But I think there might be a chance that there's a better case to argue like you can't take us off the network. We are by far the hottest thing on your network. We're keeping you afloat. So that's my thought. Like you just go out of your way to chase people away, and then you laugh that Vince McMahon is getting viewers. What do you think? What do you think about that, Kyle?
Yeah, I think all of that is accurate. They could have stayed the course. If you keep booking people competently, people are gonna watch. I mean, Goldberg, Hollywood Hogan, which we won't get to because that's a Nitro, but people did tune in for that. People wanted to see that, and you could have keep building these people to have these moments, and you just didn't. Maybe it's just the ratings of it all, the impatientness of Time Warner, or just the incompetence of the creative. It could be a combination of all of it. It just these things show why this happened and why WCW isn't here anymore. Should be a cautionary tale for both WCW, both AEW and WWE, and to a lesser extent TNA. But should be a cautionary tale for any wrestling promotion to not do these kind of things. But we still kind of get this lackluster kind of weird booking today. I mean, we're gonna be in the future a couple of weeks. Like, what if the crate, which I assume is Danhausen, is such an underwhelming fucking surprise. Like that is something that in the long run could hurt WWE, like could really hurt them because people are just gonna lose faith in them. So you just gotta be careful with these kind of things and don't repeat history in that way.
No, don't. Critique your thoughts.
You got to make people look like. I still think with the Attitude Era at this time, you have on WWF side, you have Austin as champion. He was kicking ass. He was looking cool. Like he wasn't looking like an idiot at the end of shows. Your titles change. I understand titles change. I understand people lose, but there's a way to make a person lose or get screwed out of a title that still builds an angle. You can have a chapter to the story that adds, okay, he got screwed over. Oh, who is it? Oh, he can kick his ass later or something. Like just it doesn't have to be that complicated, and you can still build your angles and build your story without overcomplicating it for the fans. Like I feel like this whole Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre thing, it's like you could just do Cody wants to fight Jacob Fatu and that's it. Like that can be one thing. It doesn't need to be a mishmash of 50 people in a fatal six-way or whatever at Mania. Like you could actually break off and have Cody and Jacob have a separate match at Mania. That to me that's a money match at Mania. And that keeps Cody doesn't need to be in the title picture every year. I think it's okay if he does something else this year. I think and to go back to this pay-per-view that we just reviewed, you could have done something where it was just maybe, I don't know, Sting and Giant, like, oh, they fight each other and then maybe Sting joins if he loses or something, or if Giant loses, then he, does something else. Like you could have done that instead of this convoluted tag team match. I don't know. Like I didn't understand. Or if anything, maybe Nash should have turned on Hall since Hall was getting babyface reactions back then. Like I feel like they're overcomplicating it.
They are, and they should all be ashamed of themselves. All right, that's the show. I say if you're in a WCW mood, watch it, but don't go out of your way if you don't care. Also, it's really hard to find, so I don't know. But if you can find your way to it, check it out.
Look
Okay,
look up the Dean Malenko part. That's what I'll say. Just watch that.
there you go. Listen, show some respect. Okay, so let's talk the next 4 weeks. Next week it's Over the Edge '98. Dude Love versus Steve Austin with that loser Vince McMahon as the referee. In 2 weeks it's Great American Bash '98. That's Sting versus Giant. In 3 weeks it's King of the Ring '98 with Steve Austin versus Kane. And don't forget Mankind, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. And then in 4 weeks, it's Bash at the Beach '98, Hogan and Rodman versus Carmelo and DDP. What are you excited for, Kyle Lewis?
I don't even know. I guess Over the Edge. I don't remember a thing about Over the Edge 98. I kind of stay away from Over the Edge entirely. So just Over the Edge 98, I guess.
I'm excited for King of the Ring. What about you, Pratik? What are you excited for?
Yeah, this is my childhood coming to life. King of the Ring '98, Bash of the Beach '98. Being from Chicago, being a Bulls fan, that Bash of the Beach '98 pay per view is fucking insane. So for me, this is my childhood coming to life. So I'm excited for all our upcoming shows.
That's awesome. All right, good. So yes, so that's the show. Let's go over our plugs. Kyle, what do you have to plug?
Character select comedy still at the stand. Whenever this comes out, plus March 7th. So catch us on a Saturday at 6 o'clock. We got a couple more shows, and then we'll be back April 4th as well. So plenty of time to catch the show.
Yes. Uh, and then Pratik, your thoughts. What do you have to plug?
My thoughts on my social media. Yeah, my social media at Pratik Comedy on Instagram, and then my YouTube channel is also youtube.com/Pratik Comedy. I got new videos on there, and I got some dates coming up, which you can find on my Instagram. And yeah, keep supporting me and keep supporting you guys, and keep supporting this podcast.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, that's the show. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe to us, Goose's Wrestling Pod. Seeing a huge uptake in downloads recently, so thank you guys so much. Tell your friends if you enjoy this thing. Follow me, Ray Goots Comedy on TikTok and Ray Goots on Instagram. Follow the podcast, Goots' Wrestling Pod. And we'll see you next week. But we're gonna go over the edge. Not like Owen Hart did,
Oh,
but
no, no, they're not. All right. We're not doing that.
over the edge, baby.